Hey, my name is Eric. I'm animating faces. I'm doing it with web code. I guess and other things too. I'm doing it with computers and the electricity that powers them. Yeah. Anyways, let's demo. I like to start with a demo, show what I did recently, and after that I get to work. So yesterday I got quite a bit done. I'll show you. Okay. So there is this web app, and this isn't new, but I'll just demo it real quick to give an idea what the web app is. So you can load in a face, and it has different parts to it. The face is animated. There's 11 different emotions. Okay. The eyelid levels can go to different places. Squint, wide-eyed, closed. Okay. All the animation takes into account these things. There's these mouth animations down here, which I can explicitly set up above, clicking on these buttons. But also, I can load in some audio that has speech in it, and also another file that has viseme timings, and I can play it.
Could you stay over here?
Careful of the ice, ma'am.
We go to the promised land?
I know. I'm very proud of you. Have you read the book?
Okay. So it would be one thing to just have all this functionality inside of a web app. But I wanted to make it so that if I create more than one web app that needs to show a face in it, or if somebody else wants to create a web app that shows a face in it and wants to animate it and everything, that they could do that. And they wouldn't have to take my full app as a starting point. They could take the library that's used for face animation that I've created and use that in their project, or I can use that library in multiple projects of mine. So it's reusability to have it in the library. So yesterday I pulled out all of the code which has functionality for animating web faces, general functionality, not just this face, and I put it in an open source library that anybody can download. All the sources I've been working with, you can use it. It's all open source. This web app is not yet open sourced. The web app that I'm working on is still something of an incubator, meaning it's not throwaway and junk code that I put in it, but it's not code that's necessarily in the final form that I want to have it when it's open sourced. So this sort of test app or fuck around app that I've got here has been growing, and yesterday I split off one giant part of it into a library, and that's part of an overall architecture that is shown here. So I've got these libraries are open source now. Oh, this one here needs to change. It's no longer the little hammer. Whoops. Let me go more into this thing. It's no longer the little hammer. I had an open source release, so I can just move that over there to show that. Okay, so what do these libraries do? This first one here, it loads in a certain file format that is used for expressing interactive dialogue. So it's just a quick way to work with these files. So like if you had I said enough about that. Let me keep going. SL Web Speech. This is for speech recognition, specifically around storytelling use cases for web apps. This is something I open sourced a little while back. Today, by the way, I'm going to import this into my test app and make sure it works. I don't have a long session here, so I'll just spend an hour or so getting that going. SL Web Face, that's what I created yesterday, or at least that's what I curated yesterday from a lot of code that was created over the last month and some of it over the last year. Web encryption at rest. I am a big fan of something called offline first. Offline first means that even though you have an ability to connect to services and store data in the cloud or on servers on the internet, that you make an effort, you make an effort to first put it all locally on the user's browser, or in this case it's a browser because it's a web app, or whatever their web app is, and hopefully you don't require someone to connect to the internet to use the app. Maybe you do, but in general the focus is put everything first onto the local place where the app is running at, and minimize the dependencies upon servers and cloud and all that. So why did I go into all that? One of the security problems with offline first is that you could be storing something on a user's local browser that's sensitive. It's not on a server protected someplace. It's on their user's laptop, and if they get a virus or something that knows to look in the files that store information kept in the browser, then that sensitive information could be compromised and given to an attacker. So if you have an offline first app, you got to worry about data breaches just the same way that a company like Google or Amazon or I'm thinking of like those credit reporting agencies. One of them got broken into. Yeah, so you have to protect the local side of it too. Web encryption at rest basically does that. So these are the libraries that I've open sourced now. Wisp is web interactive. I said speech platform? That's not even right. Storytelling. Platform. So Wisp, it's going to be these libraries and then these tools, which are the apps that pull in these libraries. It's a way to create faces that can be used in games and other storytelling type apps. And then you can have conversations with characters. They can say things. You can speak to them with actual speech recognition, and they can reply back to you. But it's not like AI based. It's more about scripts and saying you want the character to say this as part of a story narrative, and maybe here's a handful of things that character can respond to if the player wants to talk to them. So that's basically what I'm building. So today what I want to do is bring this SL Web Speech Library into my web app that I've been using to animate faces. And that'll be a starting point of some other capabilities that I'll be creating over the week. Okay, so I will do that. I will begin doing that. Now concludes the demo portion of the stream and begins the working part of the stream. Dun-dun. Okay, so then, this since I have not published these libraries to NPM, they're just on GitHub. I have to make local links so I can reference them. Okay, let's go into SL web speech. I think I already did link that one, so let me just link it here. NPM link SL web speech. Okay, let me see what my package JSON looks like. Got dev dependencies and also dependencies. Oh, but I'm in the wrong place. NPM unlink. I think that's the right syntax. Web speech. Because I'm in SO web face. I meant to be in a different file or a different directory. Okay, and we'll go into web face. And we'll do npm link. Yeah, just go up there. Okay. What? I don't think that matters. I hope it doesn't matter. Okay. So web speech. Okay, if I do npm install, what happens? It's annoying. Does that matter? Can I build it still? npm run build. Okay, it works. It's just the npm install is not going to work because there's no npm published packages. It's relying on this symbolic linkage to a local directory, so I don't have to use the npm registry. Okay, so now if I come inside of here, let me see if I'm able to import the library. I think I will be able to. Import. I think recognizer is one. SL web speech. Oh, you're not gonna take it, huh? Why does it say that web face is fine, but web speech is not? So if I go to package JSON, I've got this here. I'm guessing that I did not do the corresponding or reciprocal link from inside of this package. Let me try that out. npm link. Okay, so if I come back to web face, let's see if this works. Okay. Okay. SL web speech npm run build. Okay, ls dist. Okay, those are my files. Inside my package JSON should be something that points to that index.js and an index d.ts. Do I have that? Main, yeah, dist index.js. Types dist index dts. As it should be. Okay. And let's go back out to web face. Then let's look at node modules. Because here's where I should have a symbolic link. SL web. No, I don't. That's quite strange. Let's unlink and relink. SL web speech. npm link SL web speech. Okay. And ironically, face, the one it's complaining about, is working just fine. Is that still true? No? Okay, well, okay. If I do a build, first I want to see if I've got the So what to make of that? Is it failing because it of this 404 on web face? Maybe I need to not have the package JSON dependencies there for linking. Maybe that's causing it to fail. If I just take these out. Okay. So then let's do the link again to web speech. Okay. So then what? If I come back over here. Okay, now we've made progress. Okay, so it's like, don't add those things to package JSON if you're just going to link them in. I think that's the lesson. Because you can still reference in them if they're successfully linked inside of node module. But there's going to be troubles if they're in here for other NPM operations like link. Okay, so now I need to figure out what's the imports for this web speech. Let's go to that project, SO Web Speech. So this is a different library handling speech recognition for web apps that I created. I can see that I am exporting just Recognizer, but it's the default. So since it's a default, my import syntax is a little bit different. I could also do export default as Recognizer. I kind of like that style better because at some point I'll have things besides Recognizer that I want to export, and this will be a nicer way to make it available so you can consistently import things the same way. Okay, go back to web face, and I gotta do another build to update the library. Okay, so I'm gonna need another tab, otherwise I'll keep doing change directories. Terminal, new tab, homebrew. No, it's a nice tab. Okay, CD. Actually, I kind of like that one. That'll be my one for the web app. This will be the one for web speech. npm run build that. Should update the exports from SO Web Speech Library. Then when I come back to here, oh, now you're complaining about this. Okay, but you should be okay now. Okay, so that's fine. This is not working now. Is that because I lost the symbolic link for some reason? Let's check. Node modules SL. I did lose it. Bizarre. Okay. npm link SL web face. Need them both. Okay. ls node modules SL. It's kind of like I can only have one at a time according to this. What if I specify both at the same time? If I just do SL web face, SL web speech. Okay. Okay. I'm learning little nuances of npm link. So how you doing now? Okay, you're fine. Cool. All right. I don't think I've ever tried the speech recognition inside of a separate web app importing, so this could be good to try it out now. Recognizer. Remind myself about the interface to the Recognizer. constructor, you take this on ready. After it's ready, it'll have loaded in the language models and initialize the microphone. Then you call bind callbacks to say what callbacks you're interested in. It can send on partial, which is like a very quick speech recognition before it's ran an extra pass to improve the results. Start speaking, stop speaking events. At some point, I'll probably add like a on results, which is the second pass speech recognition results. Yeah. Okay. Don't know if it'll work to have this go inside of init because it attempts to use the audio right away before any user gestures have been performed. I might have added some logic that recovers from that or delays the initialization. I can't remember. I'll try it this way to begin with. Recognizer equals new recognizer, and then on ready return. Okay. So then if I come here, error. What's the issue? This is pretty fucking annoying, to be honest. It's complain again about this not being available. So this is really strange. Because I see a compilation error which suggests that none of the code in that library is going to execute. And then I also see code running from that library because the console log has got stuff about extracting the language models. Then there's some kind of error related to that extraction. So I've got two different problems at least, and they contradict each other. Yeah, I kind of wonder if I do need to put this package JSON things in there for it to all build correctly. Going back and forth on that a lot. Let's just put it back. SL web speech latest. SL web face latest. Okay. Come back over here. It's so bizarre. I'm wondering what I'm seeing behind this error. So there's animations that is happening. This is really strange. Maybe it was successful in compiling, right? It says compiled with problems. If I close this, I think it's working. Okay, did it make an actual build, or is it serving from a cache? I can find out by just making some minor change someplace that's visible. Let's change the order of these. Okay, so it is successfully compiling. Okay. Now, because this stuff is executing, I think that it has found the module SO web speech. So it could be this or its corresponding type declarations thing. Because if it couldn't find the module at all, this code would not have been able to run. I don't have like a direct script load. It's part of the build that produces this web app, which is Webpack based. So I kind of wonder if it's like the types, and maybe there's something in the package I need to define to get the types. If I comment this out, then these console messages do not show up. It makes me think it has to do with the types. On the faces side, SO web face, I've got no problem with my types. My types are just fine. What about here? So if I say blink controller, I get all the methods. If I say recognizer, I'm noting too that it's referencing this d.ts. Recognizer. Okay, no, it's got, at least inside of the IDE, it has all the types. Although that doesn't necessarily mean the build has them. Okay. think, let me try a build again. Also noting that adding those lines back into package.json didn't resolve anything. Okay, that build's fine. Do I have a web server running for this? That's web widgets. Okay. This is the web plus watched build. Sorry, the web server plus the watched build output. This is a warning. Okay, so I'm going to take this little code number here, see what the internet says about it. This is, let's do create React app. To manually change which TS version editor VSC should use. This is not going to help me. So I'm not using the IDE to do my builds. Although there's a few clues that maybe different versions of TypeScript could cause an issue. I don't like that idea. I really don't. Because if I have a library that's built with one version of TypeScript, like it shouldn't require that the web app that's importing that library have a similar version. I mean, it shouldn't even require that if that's true, I'm upset, but that's not necessarily true. That sounds like a good thing to check, to be honest. Particularly because I have one project that works and one that doesn't as an import. So I created two libraries, and I'm importing both of them into one web app. I think I will follow your lead and check out this tsconfig. Okay, so let's see. This is for the web app. Let's go look at web speech, which is the one that doesn't work. Okay, and let's also look at let's look at the one that's working, which is web face. Okay, this one works, this one does not. Differences. So they are the same as far as TS config goes. There's also the build. Just take a look at that. Those are the same. Look at the package JSON too for differences. Okay, this one works, this one does not work. Main dist index JS types dist index.d.ts. Those are the same. Let me make sure that I've actually got this index.d.ts file. So ls node modules SL web speech dist. Okay, I see that there. Okay. Let's see what the one from the working library looks like. There's also that types directory. Okay, so if I go into types, where did I see that? Okay, web face does not have types directory, but web speech does. Oh, that's not anything specific to the build. That's specific to my source directories. Okay. I need some more things to check here. It is this guy here. So it says it cannot find this module. That's not quite true, because it executes code within this module or its corresponding type declarations. Oh, you know something? That's what I'm thinking, because I know code is executing inside this module. So it's probably, yeah, okay. Ah, cool. Gonna take a look at this. Dropping a URL on me. Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. let's take a look. See what Bobby has to say about this. To install the module and try setting module resolution to node in your tsconfig.json file. Okay, I can try that. I'm going to keep reading for a little bit. It's not a third-party module, it's my own module. This would not apply. I'm using a npm link, which is basically creating symbolic links so that I can import it from a different local directory. This is not a problem related to my IDE because all the building is being done from the command line. Yeah, so far this is the most useful lead I've seen so far. I might do this. I think this probably won't be it. Okay, cache verify. We'll try that. Could not find a. No, that's not what it's saying. Although it might be this. I don't think it said that. It said something kind of close, though. Okay. Okay. A few things to try. Let's do this node module resolution to node in your TS. Okay, compiler options. Go over to tsconfig for, I think, the importing project. It's already set to node there. Okay, it's probably going to be set that way on the other ones too. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's do this npm cache verify thing. Yeah. I can hear my machine doing stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not frozen. Well, so let me think. Suppose this doesn't work. What would I look into next? Okay. I could do a clean. I could delete node modules, add it back in. But anyways, let's see if that did anything. I'll be able to check over here. So I think it's still Fakaka right there. Let me do a new start though on the web server. Oh, I think I got rid of it. I did. Okay. So now I've got this problem here to deal with. But that's okay. Hey, Mr. Simpson. Very helpful. We just tried like 4 things there. But yeah, one of the things you mentioned I think did it. Okay. So all the functionality.
Be careful of the ice, ma'am.
Still working.
Could you stay over here?
Okay. So then, next I move on to these errors. Make sure that this is going to work. Unrecognized archive format. So let me think. What could be the cause of these things? Let's. First off, I don't want. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna be heading to dinner in a half hour. Enjoy yours, Mr. Simpson. Oh yeah, first thing is I don't want this to run until there's been some activity. So let's create some little button you can click, and that will be a user gesture. Then the audio will be available inside the browser. Button on click. And do async. Alright, so we go if recognizer turn. Okay. Otherwise, we say I don't need async on this. Let's just do that like so. All right. Is that gonna work? Let's see. There we go. Okay. So that points to. Oh, I gotta pause for a moment. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Just look away. What a bruise. Pushing on its own doesn't matter.
I've pushed people by accident.
Rather we not focus on that.
That's a bad look. He's upset, but he's always upset.
She's probably fine. Don't draw attention to
I
yourself.
don't care if she's a pusher.
What?
It'll go back to normal. Just wait a
They
bit.
want to ruin it for everyone else.
Send the other one, see what they say.
Okay, you're saying
Hey,
she's too
nobody
pushy.
died.
You should be more
Can we
afraid.
get a beard in here?
Why is it that hard? She just wanted people to clear the path.
She pushed someone.
Oh, she's one of those types.
At first glance. But do we understand?
Hey, just look away.
What a bruise.
Pushing on its own doesn't matter.
She violated. I've pushed people by accident.
I'd rather we not focus on her
That's a
actions.
bad look. He's upset, but he's always upset.
She's probably fine. Don't draw attention to
I
yourself.
don't care if she's a pusher.
What?
It'll go back to normal. Just wait a
They
bit.
want to ruin it for everyone else.
Send the other one, see what they say.
You're saying
Hey,
she's too
nobody
pushy.
died.
Can we get a beard in here?
Why is it that hard?
Okay. So I wonder, did I get a newer version of Vosk, but I got the old version of the archives? Is that what's up? So Vosk is the speech recognition library. Oops. Hold on. What is it? You tried to load it. It might be the case. In fact, it pretty much is the case that I don't have the models hosted from my web app, and that's where it's going to go look. That is where it will look. Okay, so I should expect it to fail. It would be weirder if it did not fail. Inside of node modules, though, do I have those models? I do. So probably a good thing to do would be create a build command that will copy these over to the right location. But for the moment, let's just copy them all myself. Make sure that that is the cause of the problem. Copy 13 items. And we go to public, new folder, models, and then paste them. Okay. Then let's do a full refresh. Yeah. And it worked. All good. All right. Now I want to know, can I put this back how I had it with the loading happening earlier? So we'll say So if I say if is recognizer ready, we will see. I'm buying my callbacks too. Recognizer, find callbacks. On partial. On start speaking. On end speaking. Okay. Recognizer. Unmute. Okay, then gotta define these. So we'll say function on partial. Console text. And function on start speaking. Console log. Start speaking. Stop speaking. Okay, so let's see what it does. Okay, loaded all that stuff fine. If I say, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Okay. So it works like a champ. It did think that I was saying there are girls when I was saying there it goes. It did think there was saying there are girls when I was saying there goes. So pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. This is probably a pretty good stopping point for the stream. Yeah, okay. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I want to do tomorrow. I'll click this guy here.
Careful of the ice, ma'am.
Could you stay over here?
Man, it really does a fine job of picking up my voice and not the computer character, which is kind of cool.
We going to the promised land?
I don't even know how it does that. Like, it should be picking up all of these.
Could you stay over here?
Maybe it was because it heard me talking for a while and then it kind of latched onto my voice as a signal. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm getting distracted by the speech recognition. So these things,
Careful of the ice, ma'am.
these bits of speech audio, there is an authored aspect to it. There's a lips file, a text file that has information about the timings of the different mouth animations that are called visemes. And I used a tool where I hand authored, I guess authored means by hand. I authored the timing of all those visemes. But I have this speech recognition which should have the capability of telling me where all of its detected words are found within the audio. Now, it doesn't break it down by phoneme. It doesn't say that a word like telephone, all the individual phonemes, or you could think of it almost like syllables, but it's a little more granular than that, pop up at certain points in time. It will say where the word telephone pops up. And that's worth a lot to me in terms of guessing how to interpret the audio samples and how they may correspond to phonemes. So if I could make a pretty good guess where all the words are, then I can also get a list of all the phonemes that are in each recognized word, and I can make some other guesses about where those phonemes should be placed in time. So you could think of it kind of like if I say the word telephone and the speech recognition part comes back and it says telephone. If I say the word telephone, it's really more like I've said T at one time, and E at one time, and L, and E, and F, the phoneme F, and then the long O, and then N. Okay? Now, the speech recognition is probably going to tell me you said the word telephone at 213 milliseconds into the overall audio, right? There'll probably be another word that comes after it, like call, and it could give me the timing on it and say this was spoken at 222 milliseconds. Yeah, it'd be more than that, but more like 270 or something like that. Okay, and so that will be enough for me to know that the word telephone, begins at 213 milliseconds and ends just maybe a little tiny bit before 275 milliseconds. But let's see. So here, let's make these even numbers. 270, 210, 210, 210. Okay. So it knows that a word that is roughly 60 milliseconds long began at 210 milliseconds. 60 milliseconds long. Okay. So I get this from Vosk. This I get from my app. Okay. I can take the word telephone and ask another library called Rita. What phonemes are in telephone? And it'll say something like this, but without any spacing in it. It'll return alphabet codes for all the phonemes. Phonemes are encoding for an audio utterance that's used to create speech. It's like syllables, but more granular because it covers consonants and vowels instead of like a grouping of them. Okay, so if I know that these phonemes should be represented inside of a 60 millisecond amount of time, I can say, well, I know the T is definitely going to be at 0% of that 60 milliseconds, and the N is definitely going to be at 100%, right? I also know that vowels take a little more time than consonants, so I can basically interpolate and come up with a pretty good guess at where all of these things are. And if I need to, I can cross-reference it to the audio samples as well. So there's things like the F, I know fits a quieter sound in a high pitch. But I'm hoping I don't need to get into looking at the audio samples for anything other than, say, silence detection. Because like if you said telephone and then you're completely quiet and then you said call, the end of telephone should not be at the beginning of call. It should be where there's a detected silence between the two words. Okay. So let's say that is an input. Telephone call, and then also detected silence. Interpolation of positions. Of phoneme positions. Okay. Now, as soon as I have the phoneme positions and a good guess at them, then there's a final transformation, which is to assign visemes to them. I'll break it out into two things. For two dense visemes, use priority rules to cull less important visemes. So sometimes you have a word that has or a sentence. Oh, I got hiccups. Good thing I'm about ready to stop streaming. Sometimes you have a word or sentence that is spoken very fast. Like I'll read something Simpson said. Bobby had said tons of short tutorials got me through tons of TS errors. Well, if you speak that really fast, or even just a normal speed, it happens quite often that you want to drop out less important phonemes so that the mouth movements aren't so cluttered. And that's a stylization that helps lip animation be more impactful. It's a decision usually made by an animator, but they do follow certain rules that I think can be automated. And, there's a line of reasoning for people that are good lip animators that, God, I've got these bad hiccups. It's about time for me to shut up anyways. All right. I'm going to stop the stream here. Had some nice participation from Mr. Simpson. And it's nice to hear from Z. All right. I'm going to sign off and catch you later. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. I really am stopping the stream. Hiccups now.